Hello everyone, welcome back to the All Over Packers podcast. Liverpool Arsenal, big preview. How are we feeling about the game, boys? Corin, I'm going to come to you first.
I'm all right. I mean, it is what it is. This game is going to be very much. It's an exciting game. Be very two best teams in the country at the moment. First time since 2009 that two teams that have won 5 games in a row have played each other, and that was Liverpool versus Arsenal, the 4-4 at Anfield. It's going to be a bit of a roaring game. Everyone seems to be on edge for it, and with the new fixtures being released, everyone seems a bit more nervous now. But it'll be a great game. It will be a game that I'm just excited to get into, to be honest. So let's see what happens.
Chris, how are you feeling, bro?
I'm good. Obviously going into this game, we've won 9 out of the last 11. 9 out of the last 11 league games. We have the most points in the last 10 games of any team. They're second with joint with Man City. So yeah, we're going into this game very good on form. They're very good on form. They've won their last 8 games. And City drew yesterday, as I said in yesterday's stream, they were going to draw, which means that Liverpool now have a big chance for them to get within 1 point of City. So going into this game is, like, for us, it's obviously win your game in hand and just create a bigger gap between the teams below you. For them, they need to try gain ground on Man City, which is a big thing for them.
Yeah, because if they win, they go 1 point below them and don't have 1 point behind.
Yeah, 1 point behind.
And then they play City soon as well. So
they play City in 2 games.
That'll be a big game. Z, what about you? How are you feeling, mate?
To be fair, man, I don't really have a feeling for the game. Like, I'm generally, when it comes to these big games, I'm always positive for some reason. I just feel like Arsenal always steps up in my mind, anyways, in my fantasy mind. But I feel like, look, tomorrow I'm going to the game. I'm hoping we pull up with a good performance. I'm hoping we have a similar performance to the one that we had with Unai Emery when Lacazette scored that beautiful goal, and we just keep them to a draw. Really, I mean, that's all I'm hoping. But we'll see. But I'm just excited for the game, anyways, because I feel like we've come close in the last few games where we've come toe to toe, but just because of because of inexperience and some fitness as well, has probably caused us to not get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the results. But now I feel like we're fit, we're firing, we're on form. We've won 5 games in a row. It's the best time to play them, and let's just show them what we've got, really.
As everyone said, for us, 5 games in a row, them 8 games in a row. It's a blockbuster match. They're going for first place. We're going for top 4. It's definitely going to be an interesting game, I'll tell you that. But we'll get into the lineups, starting 11 and kind of tactical tweaks. Corin, normally we build up in the 2-3-5. Do you think we'll go with that against Liverpool, or do you think we'll be more conservative?
No, I don't really see. I mean, the thing about Mikel is what he does is if something's not broken, he doesn't try to fix it. He's very much, if something works, I don't see any need to change it. He keeps players on form. He keeps systems on form. The only thing that might change is we don't know about Tommy's fitness. So if Tommy is back, and we've been saying this for weeks now, if he's back, then it will change the dynamics about who comes inside central a bit more, because Tommy will obviously want to come in central a bit more. But if he's not back, then it will be the same 2-3-5 for build up. It will be the same strategy of trying to basically allow our right hand side to be our main route of build up, and then either switch to the left or go through the right to try and penetrate through their block. Basically, I don't really see many changes, and we haven't made that many changes this entire run, so not really much in terms of changes.
I was going to say, we haven't seen Sambi Lokonga in quite some time. Chris, what about you? Do you think anything will change in the starting 11?
No. I'm not sure we really need to make a big change. Maybe a mil for Martinelli. Apart from that, I don't think there'll be a change. Tomiyasu's only started training today in full team training. So would he risk it? I don't know. And Salah only started training today as well. I don't know, them two, I'm not sure.
Z, what do you think? Do you think we're going to go all guns blazing for the game, or do you think we're going to be more conservative, more pulled back?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, like, I agree with Curry. I mean, Arteta doesn't really change much. You know, he likes to go with the winning formula. But I'm just hoping, just deep inside, that he does this tactical masterclass against Klopp, because you know what, these games are made for it. Because if we're saying every game is a cup final, let's treat it as one, and let's go off with these one-off tactics for this, just for this game. Because I really want to see a result. I really want to see us take that next step, really. But yeah, I mean, in terms of personnel, I could see Gabby being replaced by Emil Smith Rowe, purely because I feel like it probably will be the game for him where we need a bit more goals. With Martinelli, he does offer a lot in the touchline, but I don't know. I haven't seen much from him, like in terms of him in a big game scoring goals, where Emil Smith Rowe has scored in like almost every big game for us so far. And yeah, apart from that, I don't know. I'm hoping Xhaka plays a bit deeper. I mean, I really want to see us revert back to a pivot just for this game, because I just can't be bothered to see Xhaka and all the spaces that he leaves behind. And apart from that, I don't know. I don't really care if Tommy or Cedric plays, because I don't know. There might not be too much of a difference, just purely based on the fitness of Tommy Yasu, really. So yeah, I mean, we just have to see.
Do either of you boys think Smith Rowe is going to come back into the team?
It could be, but
I'm not sure.
I'm not
You
sure,
don't
to
think?
be honest, because I'm just going to say what I said before. He doesn't change winning formulas a lot. He doesn't do that. He's not. That's not his ethos. He usually tries to. If something's working, especially the main thing I would say is with Trent coming up, and we'll discuss it when we get into potential key battles. With Trent coming up the pitch and inverting, there'll be room for runners behind, and if you want runners behind, that's where you want Martinelli in. And I don't really see. I mean, obviously, Emil is elite at that as well, and his ball carrying is ridiculous, and he's been one of our best players this season. But the issue is what's the profile you want to exploit a potential weakness, and that is the better profile to exploit that weakness.
Actually, but it was a perfect segue into it, Cohen. I was about to ask you about key jewels. There's going to be a lot in this, and especially to win. What key jewels do you think we'll be looking at tomorrow?
I mean, there's three that stand out. So obviously, Cedric and White versus Diaz is going to be a massive one. We'll be able to get their inform man, be able to keep him quiet. That will be a major duel because, as we pointed out on the Leicester review, White being aggressive, Cedric sometimes leaving space in behind. We need to make sure that right hand side is tight and defensively secure. Otherwise, he's going to run riot. Let's be real. The second one for me is going to be Trent versus Martinelli, because if Trent advances up the pitch and leaves space in behind, it's just to just put it this way: if we can get them like we were doing against Leicester, if we can get Martinelli making those runs touchline in behind, there's a way to get past them, get through their block quite easily. A third one I would say would be Granit Xhaka with Gabriel against Trent and Jordan Henderson, because we've noted in the past couple of previews because Granit is going so high, it's hard for him to track the space. He doesn't have the physical capability to track back that space in behind at times. And if you leave Trent with space in between the lines, it's game over, lads. I mean, he's such a deadly crosser. And obviously with the overlap with Henderson on that right hand side and Matip coming through, progressing the ball from the back, there's a lot of leeway in that left half space for the right half space for Liverpool and the left half space for us. If we are lax in that position, it just will happen. Other duels will obviously be Odegaard and Saka versus Van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Obviously, that's going to be a major battle because that's where most of our progression runs through. And obviously, Mo Salah versus Kieran Tierney on the Liverpool right hand side. But for me, the main one is that left half space. If we're able to boss that left half space and able to track back and stop Trent getting into those positions that he likes, that is a major duel that we can win there. If we let him just go, he's going to go, and we're not going to be able to stop him because if you give that boy time, he will find his passes.
Yeah, Yeah, CK, what about you? Key Jules, who are you looking at for tomorrow?
Well, obviously the 1v1s on the fullback and the winger. They're gonna try and get players in behind in the half space. So Mane or Jota, whoever's in that false nine role. I would be more scared if it's Mane because I think he's more technically secure between the lines. Although Jota may be better aerially, Mane is more of a threat, like dropping deep in, pulling centre backs deep in, trying to create space for like Diaz and players like that in half space. So tomorrow, I think whoever the false nine is will be key with the how we operate with Partey and the two centre backs, how they patrol stopping Mane or Diaz, whoever it is, in that space. I think the 1v1s, so Liverpool we saw very much versus Chelsea and West Ham. They really tried to get Diaz 1v1 with the fullback. So Diaz, whoever is Cedric or Tomiyasu, will be a big one tomorrow because obviously he's been hyped a lot recently, but he hasn't been very potent whenever he's 1v1. Like his end product hasn't been great enough for it to be such a big threat. So the 1v1 versus Diaz and probably Cedric will be very important, I think. And then on our side, Saka versus Robertson. He created issues last time. Saka was very quiet versus Leicester, I think. He didn't get too many big chances to score a goal. He combined well with Erdogan and stuff, but he didn't get too many big chances. So I think we'll need to be more potent because we'll definitely have. I'm not sure we'll get the same 21 shots that we did versus Leicester. So we're going to have to be a lot more clinical if we will get something from this game. And then just the midfield, really, because they always beat us in duels in the midfield. And with Thiago and Henderson and Fabinho, I expect it to happen again.
Thiago and Partey as well. Thiago and Partey. That's going to be a massive duel.
See, that midfield duel will be very key. That's where they always beat us, I believe. So whatever happens tomorrow in that midfield will be key. We can't afford Xhaka to give that space he gave to Dewsbury Hall the last game. We can't afford that for him to give it to anybody. Whoever Salah running at our defense, we've seen how bad that can be. So yeah, I think we just need to be a lot more tight and a lot more compact and a lot less reckless whenever we try advance and transition because there's always big spaces to be left behind. And we saw in the League Cup how Jota's goal was scored was Martinelli trying to progress the ball and he lost it. One ball over the top, bang. So they can kill you very quickly. So we need to be very aware of the quick threats they have in transition.
So if you're hoping that Xhaka's coming further back, do you think there'll be the rotations then? Do you think Martinelli will be more inverted and then you'll see Kieran more out wide and see Kieran go back to the kind of role he played last season?
I think the reason why that happens is, one, we need to keep the ball a bit better when you're advancing in that left half space because losing the ball very quickly and then not tracking back, which Xhaka isn't the best in recovery. He's very poor at it, actually. Him being poor at that is very scary for me in that midfield because they already have a better midfield than us and they already probably win a lot of duels against us in midfield, so we can't afford for us to give away the ball as well as losing it in the 50-50. So I'm not sure he always wants to step. Like his first instinct when we press is to step and try help the front line, but we need to be more intense in the front line and try to cause a mistake from Matip, who hasn't been the best the past couple of weeks, if we're being honest. He's been poor. And Van Dijk doesn't commit. So you will get chances from them. And that's what I'm saying. I think they're obviously going to have the fair share of chances and the better possession and stuff. But we will get chances. And if you take them, you can win your game. I just think we need to be a lot less reckless and a lot more clinical.
I also think that we're just going to have to stop being. We're going to have to be a little bit more conservative in terms of, because if you remember the Anfield game, basically they just had Mane on Tommy the entire time. It legit was just like they just kept spamming that because basically our press was unable to contain Thiago because Laka couldn't basically move to his man and they couldn't form that three man front line as easily. So Thiago just had space, and he had space to pick out Mane every time, and it was just one-on-one with Tommy because Tommy was up as well. So it was just hard for him to track it back. So we're going to have to watch out for their width. We're going to have to watch out in transition because we're not going to sit back in a low block. We were talking before about West Ham winning against Liverpool, and you mentioned quite rightly, Willow, that basically they will stay quite low. West Ham don't really care. We will go. You know what I mean? We'll try and push up that line. We'll try and get into them, get in their faces, and give them a game. If we allow them the space and time behind in transition, and we're not careful about how we manage our transitions and make sure our press is secure, then we're going to get screwed. It has to be precise. It has to be the work rate has to be there for 90 minutes. You can't leave spaces, especially in areas where they are able to secure the ball and pass it forward with pace and with precision, and pass it to players that can finish with aplomb. Like if Jota plays, if Salah plays, you know what I mean? These are the names that you have to look at and think. If Diaz plays, their front line is their front line. And they are elite, and they are the favourites for the Champions League for a reason. Well, one of the favourites, the same with the Premier League. So you have to be careful of that.
Yeah. Z, we've seen Arsenal against the likes of Man City, against Wolves. We've changed from a kind of zonal press to a man-mark press, and you've seen the likes of Martin Odegaard sit on a Ruben Neves, sit on a Rodri. Could you see that happening again in the Liverpool game with maybe Fabinho?
I mean, to be fair, like it could, but again, like I was going to say this anyways. I feel like the game is going to be lost and won in midfield because you know what? Every time we've played them, it's where we've seen Fabinho, Thiago. They were the two players that were dominating midfield, and for the first time, we have our midfield back. You know, this is where I feel like we might need to take a different approach. Where I feel like if we go back to they might be able to even take that apart and beat our press. I feel like we might need to go where take a different approach to our press where we kind of try and block the passing lanes and to ensure that when it comes to us trying to score against them for example in transition, it's much of it's an easier process. But for me, I feel like Liverpool are too smart for you to go mark them man to man. It's like it's one of the most basic instructions you can give your team against Liverpool. Like they will take you apart. This is why you need to attack the spaces that they leave behind. If Trent runs forward, you attack that half space that he's left behind because Trent will leave space. We've seen it time and time again. But this is what we need to do. And I would be worried if we go man to man. To be fair.
Yeah, I think the key to the press is. Well, I disagree. I think we have to go man to man on Fabinho or man to man half in the passing lane because the real aim is to block the passing lane from defense into midfield and especially into Thiago, which they really like with Van Dijk to Thiago. And we failed when they beat us 4-0. Lacazette failed to do that away at their ground, and then we failed again to do that in the Carabao Cup the second time round. So that entry pass into midfield is very key. I think our press has to be very organised and very tight, and players need to be very quick to meet their marker because we can't afford to leave gaps in behind. Because if Ruben Neves can exploit, he's a good player, but he exploited gaps that we left in behind in our press. And Fabinho and Trent, these guys will kill us in behind our press. So we need to be very tight to our marker and try to stop the entry passes to midfield and just make it harder for their build-up to progress through the lines against us.
But do you not think Liverpool are already preparing for us to mark man to man, which is why we need to take a different approach? Because we've done it in the last game as well, and it didn't really work. This is what I'm trying to say. I feel like Liverpool will be very prepared for that. This is why I'm just trying.
The issue last game for me was that we had Smith Rowe when we lost 2-0 in the Carabao Cup, there was a big disconnect between the on the ball structure and the off the ball structure. And on the ball, Smith Rowe was a centre mid, but off the ball, he was a striker, trying to mark in the front line with Lacazette. So that's just the issue with Arteta, in my opinion. He created too big a gap for Smith Rowe to have to dictate and try to press. That created a big place for Trent to patrol and just enter and step in midfield because it was very easy for him to evade Smith Rowe's press because he's in two minds. And if Smith Rowe is going to step, the whole team has to. But the whole team didn't, so that left a big gap. So I don't think we'll have the same issue in that midfield role if he puts Ødegaard in the front line like he has recently, and not the lefts and the mid.
Curran, we've talked about on the pod quite a lot about the overlap issue. Do you think that will be an issue in this game?
The thing is, with Cedric, you do have that overlap. And going forward, you will have that ability to stretch the pitch going forward. Because we were mentioning in the Leicester review that basically they have that they have movements now and understanding where Ødegaard can make that into outrun and Cedric can hold the width. So on that right-hand side, we've got that. On the left-hand side, we've got Martinelli, and we can have, obviously, him come inside and Tierney whip outside. So we can stretch the pitch on both sides, which is good. The issue is that when we lose the ball, are we going to be too basically forward? Because we're going to have to, for 90 minutes, we're going to have to track back. And if we commit too high, and that could be another issue. So I would prefer us to, kind of balance it out. If one side's going, the attack collapses to that side, and the other side inverts and holds in transition. So you have that, for example, that 2-2-6, or you have that ability, that 2-3-5, but the whole thing is collapsed to one side. So you don't have that massive ability for Liverpool to come out quickly and just basically hit you. And the main thing I'm going to say is we have to watch out for transition. Because if we go in and we try and dominate this game, the runners they have are deadly. They have runners, right? They're a physical team. They're a very, very good team in transition. And they're not just this whole sustained pressure, gegenpress, etc., etc., etc. They are so good when they get the ball. It can be anywhere on the pitch in hitting you. Anywhere. So that's the key. Run it back. I mean, even for me personally, I would run back the 5-3, the 5-4-1 block, and just have holding in the middle, and just shit house it. You know what I mean? Just proper low block for 90 minutes, and just hold it. I will get my point. You know what I mean? I would Mourinho it. I don't care.
Like 5-4-1, you don't have a red. So
that's what I'm saying. 5 foot. Did I say 5-3-1? I meant 5-4-1.
Yeah, because 5-3-1 was very good.
Yeah,
with the red.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I meant 5-4-1. Did I say 5-3-1? 5-4-1.
For me, honestly, like for me, if I was just going like to do a big shit house, I'd go 5-3-2. Partey's Smith Rowe, Saka in the midfield, and then Nketiah and Pepe up top, or Nketiah and Martinelli up top, and just go absolute like athleticism and compete
I hear it. I totally hear it.
Compete in the midfield, but still have the ability to spring with the outlets. And obviously, they go narrow 4-3-3 when they press, and they do go 2-3-5, 3-2-5 build up. So when they do build up, we'll have the ability to press them with the 5-3-2 with Martinelli and Pepe, or Martinelli and Nketiah, whoever they put in that front line will be very quick and very explosive enough for us to spring whenever we do win the ball back in the midfield.
I think West Ham exploited that a lot in their game. I think they actually attacked through the centre quite a lot. Every time they'd be very direct, looking for that ball and looking to spring their attack. So West Ham did do that, kind of what you're saying, CK, to actually get their win. And they did win. I think it was 3-2 in the end. They won, didn't they? It was a very, very open game. Mikel Arteta also talks about the mentality of the game and that we need to believe to win. Z, how much do you think that factors into it?
I think again, I feel like in the last few games we've come close. Honestly, we've come close. Like every time I've watched Arsenal versus Liverpool in recent times, it's not. I haven't felt like we've been dominated to the extent that they're a much better team. But there's been lapses in concentration, and there's been this thing with their confidence where it completely drops, and that's where Liverpool start releasing their anger on us. Like for example, like that game at Anfield earlier on in the season in the Premier League when it was 0-0, and then we were doing well. Arteta had his bust up with Klopp. It riled up the fans. It intimidated intimidated the players, and then in the end, Lokonga kept on giving the ball away. Then Tavares, ended up, giving the ball away, and they scored. They scored in quick succession. And these are the kind of things that we're gonna have to avoid. And hopefully tomorrow, we have a cracking atmosphere at the Emirates, because I feel like the stadium has been amazing, like in terms of atmosphere, in terms of the the noise that we create, and hopefully the fans can obviously push the players on, but our players need to be brave. They can't be like let's say doing reckless things, giving the ball away in stupid places, making stupid fouls, just getting just giving the ref any reason to make a red card or a penalty. We have to avoid that, because that's when our heads will drop. We need to avoid all these things, and we need to have a near perfect game to actually get a result. And to be fair, look, I feel like we have to basically use the last 5 games as that pedestal to basically sign off those last 5 games and say, look, we're actually a good team. And
Yeah.
you see what I'm trying to say? So hopefully we do it, man. I
Yeah.
really want to see that.
I think we all want to see it. We want to see it, and I think that's perfect transition into predictions, boys. What are we predicting? Conan, come to you first. Predictions for the game.
I just don't think we have enough. I think we'll lose, but we won't. It'll be like City. I'm predicting 2-1 to them. I will answer the question because it is in the thing about this. Before I hand off to thinking about how City contained them. Oh, wait, it's gone. How City managed to contain them. I don't think they contained them really. I think most of the City pool games are very, very. They're very open games. City try to retain possession, and they're one of the best at it. And Liverpool do hit them as well as they take it. They're not exactly dominant games from either side. They're very, very hotly contested games. So if City are on that level that they are on, and they are barely hanging on at times, I just, you know what I mean? It's a tough game. And in terms of like what Z was mentioning about the crowd and discipline and red cards and all these kinds of things, it's very, very much we need to impose our will on them. As Mikel said in the game, to win these games, you have to have near perfect games. You have to dominate every single minute of the game. You can't just have a good spell and then lack off. You have to be on it from minute 1 to minute 90, and that's how we lost against Man City. We had a great first half, and we kind of just lost our heads in that second half. And the penalty incident obviously was bullshit, but it happened, and then the red card and the Rodri goal, and it just kind of went to crap. So we have to be mature enough and have our heads screwed on well enough just to keep it together for 90 minutes. If we can do that, we have a shot. But I just don't think we have the ability to maintain the level that we need. We're not at title level yet. If title level is maintaining our best periods, so for example, that first 20 minutes for 90 minutes. That Leicester performance, for the first 20 minutes, if you can do that for 90 minutes, that's what you need to win the title in this league. And that's what Liverpool can produce if they're on form. And they are on form. They've won 7 in a row. You know what I mean? It's not
8 in a row.
8 in a row even. Thank you. So, you know what I mean? There are 3 teams in this league that have won 5 games in a row now. Us, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
4.
And
Man City as well.
Well, Man City just drew.
Oh yeah, but they have one.
No, he's talking on form. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying over the course of the season they have.
No. But I'm saying right now. I'm saying right now
on form. Yeah.
So we have these are 2 of the best teams in this league over the last five games. So I expect a great game, but I just don't think we have the capacity just to go for 90 minutes at that level. And so I'm saying 2-1 loss. And I don't really predict losses.
So, I was going to say you don't. I don't think any of us really do. Chris, what about you? Predictions for the game?
Well, before I'll say my match prediction, I think on this question, I think City are just technically superior to every team in the world. So do a very good job of retaining possession. And when they don't allow Liverpool to make it a transition game, like in the 2-2 they had earlier this season, first half City dominated. And Liverpool weren't in the game. And Liverpool couldn't create anything. But the second half, City made it a transition game. But the issue with City is that they can get caught in transition, and a team as potent as Liverpool, with a guy who was on crazy form at the time with Salah, just was so heavily involved in 2 goals that you can't just defend against. Like the second goal he scored in that game was immense, and he went past 4 players and then put it in the corner. So having that level of quality on the pitch from both sides always results in a very good game from both teams. But City managed to retain the ball against any team in the world, and Liverpool's the best press in the world. and City is the best wide overloads and rotations and arguably the best build-up in the world. But the only argument there is probably Chelsea. So City being that technically secure across the whole pitch, even their goalkeeper, is why they're able to contain Liverpool. But for me, obviously, if you're a long-term viewer, you know I have a hard time picking one score. So before the game, I was saying 1-1.
Wait, you changing?
Do it. Go
Oh.
on, do it. Do it. Go on. You know you
Before the
want
game,
to.
I was saying 1-1. Then I was thinking about like, oh, we're gonna scrape a 1-0. We're gonna do it.
Mhm.
I think I might settle on the 2-1 that I was always thinking of. But you know when everybody puts the same score, it just ruins your.
Oh, you're going 2-1 Liverpool?
That's what I was gonna go, but everybody
Oh.
has. So there's no. The aim is to gain, innit? The aim is to gain points. And if I go 2-1 Liverpool, I'm not gaining any points because everyone will get it correct.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
So-
fair enough. That's fair enough. Z,
Strategy.
what about you?
Yeah, no,
prediction?
I'm going
What
2-2.
was your prediction in the end?
Oh yeah. What's your prediction, bro?
Come back to me.
I thought you said 2-1. I thought you said 2-1. I thought you just said 2-1.
Let's come back to me.
Confused. Okay, I'll come back to Chris. All right, Z, what's your
He's
prediction?
Bro, I'm going 2-2, man. I don't know. It probably could end up a draw. It probably could end up a defeat. It probably could end up a win for Arsenal or Liverpool. But the main factor is I can't. You know what? I barely ever predict us losing. It's just this thing about sport. If you ever seen the history of BoP, I've barely ever predicted us to lose. So yeah, I'm going 2-2, man.
Going 2-2. Okay, Chris, I'm coming back to you.
That wasn't helpful. See, you were very
Or,
quick.
yeah, I was going to say, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
Okay, I'm also going. I'm with Curran. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. I don't know. I can't. As much as I think I'm really excited to see our midfield play because our midfield's been really good since they've come back together. I think what was it? They played like 12 games in the league together, and it was like 1-8. Or play. How many have they played? I can't remember what it is, but it's like they've won all of them apart from like 3 games where they've drew 1 and then lost 2. And that one loss against Everton, Xhaka was just coming back from injury as well. So they're a very, very tight unit together. I think as much as what we need, Martin Odegaard covering so much ground with the press, he is so good, and how he can get there, make the pressures happen. So Liverpool don't have a free ride at being able to make them passes into them places to transition the game. I think we need to stop that, and I think Odegaard helps with that. I think Partey's in the form of his life at the moment for us, the best form he's ever been in for us. He's dominating duels, and that is the form we need him in. We need him to dominate them duels if we're going to win the game. I'm talking like I'm saying we're going to win, but sadly not. But I think it will be a close game, and I'm hoping the team can do us proud and somehow scrape something out the game. I would absolutely love something out of the game, but yeah, sadly, I just think they've got too much quality. There's so many world-class players in positions, and they're a world-class manager who drills them to the absolute T. So 2-1 Liverpool. CK.
Oh God.
Every time, this guy. Every time.
What was George's
Such a
prediction?
crook.
2-1 is George. I'll
2-1.
stick with 2-1 Liverpool.
No,
I hope we beat them 4-0, but 2-1 Liverpool.
I was hoping you'd go 4-0 to us because you were saying
No
it off
way.
stream before.
yeah. You know what it is though with CK is like after the game, like we'll win, like it'll be like a 1-0 win or a 4-0 win. But I predicted that, but he predicts about every scoreline there is. He predicts a 4-0, a 1-0, a 1-1, a 2-1.
I have the same prediction for weeks going into the game, and then
You
once
bottle
I
it.
sit here and you ask me to say it, something makes me change.
You bottle it.
But yeah,
Wait, what was your prediction coming into it for weeks? Like weeks ago?
2-1.
What was that? 2-1 to Liverpool.
yeah, but everyone's said it.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough. If that was your one going in for weeks, then respect.
The problem is that everyone's saying it, so there's no where to gain, is there?
Yeah. And lastly, our final farewells, and it will be a quick one, just round table. What does this mean for top 4, boys? Karen, I'll go to you first. Any
No.
implications?
There's if you look at the fixture list, I mean, obviously we found out that Chelsea and the Chelsea where Chelsea's going to be, and
Bullshit.
but the issue is is the next 4 games, right? There's points available there. There really is points available there. I'm not going to sit here and make a points prediction because I just don't like doing it. But like there is gettable games there. There's next 4 games. We can really put ourselves away and really do some damage in the next 4 games. So this game is not. I'm going to say this game. No game in this Premier League is a free hit. There's no such thing as a free hit. What I'm going to say is this game is a game that we can test ourselves. Is somewhere a game to enjoy, a game to just sit back and relax and just see, well, not relax, but just see where we are as a club and see how we can do. And if we get the 3 points, great. But if they don't get the 3 points, it's not the end of the world, but we're still allowed to be disappointed. You know what I mean? You can be disappointed, but you don't have to go flying off the handle saying we're finishing 8th again. So the issue is just moderation on either side. I don't think this is a massive, put your flag in the ground. This is the day we get top 4, we lose top 4 kind of game.
It's not do or die.
It's not do or die. Thank you. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
okay. CK.
Yeah, big game for top 4. What does this mean? We win this. Well, that's 4 points ahead of United with 2 more games in hand, and the game we least expected to win as a team, and then it just increased momentum. It will be 10 wins out of the last 12.
Jesus Christ.
It will be 6 wins in a row, and then we'll have Aston Villa. But winning this game would be a very good game to win, and it will be like our first win versus Liverpool since that 2-1 in COVID.
Yeah. Just to add on quickly, if we win this, I'm with CK. 3rd is on. It's not even.
You're not allowed to be
even a joke anymore.
You're not allowed.
But I'm just saying. I don't think we're gonna get. That's why I'm saying I don't think we're gonna get 4. I don't think we're gonna get 3rd. But
29 games.
If we win this game,
you're not allowed to be with me.
I'm not with you, man. I said what I said, didn't it? But
I
can see if we win this, this is that's a level raiser.
Yeah,
you move into a different level of form and going into the last 10, 12 games, you're moving into just a different level of competition. Then we're leaving 4 points away from United with 2 games in hand on them. That takes you or gives you some breathing room.
But also, the rescheduling thing is nonsense because we shouldn't be playing Liverpool tomorrow. We should be playing Spurs.
Yeah,
that was the game that got cancelled in January, and Liverpool got cancelled on the last day of February. So we should be playing Liverpool. We should be playing Spurs today, and then with the Liverpool game, with the Chelsea game that got rescheduled, it shouldn't be all the way there. Where everyone knew going into the season, Chelsea won't be here that weekend because they have Club World Cup. Like the Club World Cup was scheduled before the season, so they should have rescheduled it anyways. But it is what it is, isn't it? There's just always going to be this nonsense with the ties and stuff like they're putting games so close for us when we have so many gaps that they could use, but that are better suited for games. But it is what it is. We're going to beat all of them. We're going to beat Chelsea, United, and then hopefully Liverpool.
We'll see. Z, what about you, mate? Any implications for top 4? What does this game mean for it?
I mean, I feel like the next five games probably puts us in contention to actually tie up top 4 before the league even finishes, because I feel like we shouldn't be taking it to the last few games of the season. So hopefully we get some sort of result tomorrow, and then we get at least 9 points from the next 4 games. I don't know, whatever game that happens in the future. And
so I'll tell you right now, the next
Aston
4
Villa,
games are Villa, Southampton, Brighton, and Wolves.
I think if we have room for error, like we have 3 games in hand, and despite those games, probably against tough teams. I mean, we still have 3 game advantage on all these other clubs, so I feel like we have room for error. But it'll be good to secure it very early on.
Yeah. Well then, I think this comes to an end. I just want to say thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the engagement. We love it as always. We love the support. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Follow everyone on Twitter as well. I'll let Chris do all of that. I must admit, you're better at that than I am.
Yeah, follow the one Willow, follow CK Football, Karen BoP, Privs Tweets, George V _ AFC, and last but not least, follow BoP40 on Twitter and Instagram and Ball Over Passion on TikTok. Just subscribe and we'll be back, 2 days, so Thursday for the Liverpool.
I hope to come back to a review because Chris is also hosting that review, so he's going to be coming back with a stinking attitude if we do lose. So for everyone's sake, for everyone's sake, I hope we win.
4-0 win. That's my
Peace.